Welcome back to another Fash Skill tutorial. If you haven't watched part 1 on how to make a basic straight skirt pattern, please do so for better understanding of this part 2 video. In part 2, we are going to cover how to use this same 3-in-1 pattern method to make the perfect pencil skirt pattern. This is going to save you a lot of time, but first, I'm going to talk about a few things you should consider before drafting your pattern. Let's start with measurements. Feel free to pause this video so you can read the notes on the images. To keep this video short, I will focus on the 3 main measurements you need for the pattern: the waist, the hips, and the hem. There are 3 ways to apply measurements while drafting. First, you can use a standard size chart like the one before you. Second, you can use a tape measure and measure your own body or that of your client. This is also pretty simple. The third and final method is to simply get a similar item of clothing from your closet and use this to take down the measurements. When drafting, you will have to use some math, but don't you worry, it's pretty easy and standard, so you will master the formula in no time. Divide your waist measurement by 4, divide your hip measurement by 4, and for the hemline, just get the hip measurement minus 2 inches. The next thing to note about pencil skirts is that they are plain or have some details on them, so make sure that you decide which of the 2 you are going to draft. The plain skirts are made mostly from stretch fabric, so they can fit perfectly without adding a zip or a slit. The pattern of a plain pencil skirt will look like this. The only additional piece is the facing that helps to give the waist some definition and a clean finish, just as you can see in this diagram before you. Skirts with details come in various materials, both stretchy and non-stretchy, because of added features like a waistband, zippers, buttons, pockets, and of course, a slit. Now let's get into the tutorial on how to create your pencil skirt pattern with measurements. For starters, we will draw a vertical line from point A to point B, just as you see in the diagram. The next step is to draw a horizontal line from point A to point C. And this is the part where the measurements come in. For the waist, we're going to use 28 inches, and you'll divide that by 4 to get 7 inches. Next, we shall measure 8 inches from point A to point D to get our hip line. Once that's done, we shall apply the measurements of 36 inches, which are also divided by 4 to get 9 inches. From that hip measurement, you are going to go ahead and subtract 2 inches, and that will give you the measurement for the hemline. The next step is to connect points C, E, and F. This is the side seam, just as you can see in the diagram. Then you will connect G to C with a straight line. Measure points A to C for the dart, 5 inches for the dart length, and mark 1.5 inches on both sides to complete the dart legs. Go ahead and add half an inch of seam allowance to all sides of your basic skirt and cut out your pattern. What we've just completed is the pattern for the front part of a pencil skirt. Now let's move on to the back part. What you're going to do is simply draft the basic skirt front. Add the dart at the same points as the front skirt and add 1.5 zip allowance from the center back. And that, my friends, is the complete pattern for the back part of a simple pencil skirt pattern. Thank you for watching this video to the very end. Please leave a comment if you have any questions, and join me next time for another tutorial on how to make an airline skirt using the same 3-in-1 pattern method. See you next time.